Hey, this is Alex and I'm good at games. Sorry it took so long for me to make another video. In the spirit of the holiday season, I took a break to spend time with my family and friends. And dog, and doctor, and giant alligator, you get it. But I'm back with a review of a game no less. Katamari Damacy Reroll is a remaster of cult classic Katamari Damacy on PS2. Looking at the intro cinematic, it's clear what this game is about. You'd have to be pretty dumb not to know what's going on here. But for the stragglers, the game starts off after the King of Cosmos gets drunk and destroys all the stars in the sky. So he gets his oddly tiny son, the Prince, to collect objects from Earth so that they can be converted back into stars. That's science.
Wow.
The king will constantly interact with you throughout the game, giving objectives and generally being a jerk. It's always entertaining to read though. There's also a side story following the Hoshino family, but they're uncomfortable to look at and I'm gonna pretend they don't exist. So how do you collect things? With your big sticky ball, of course. The goal of each stage is to roll up anything and everything you see within the given time limit, growing bigger and stickier as more is collected. The bigger you are, the more you can pick up, and the circle of life continues. It's a simple concept that's immediately satisfying from the second you start playing. This is helped in part by the highly intuitive control scheme. Nearly every action you make is done entirely with the analog sticks. Push both forward to go forward, both back to go back, in opposite directions to turn, and so on. It's easy to learn and fun to master. Don't forget to turn on vibration. For some reason, you also have the option to emulate this control scheme by tilting two Joy-Con around. This is new to the port, and while the motion controls work pretty well, they don't really add much to the experience. If there's one thing I learned from this game, it's that Japan is full of compulsive littering. Each stage is packed to the brim with various things to roll up, usually laid out in clever or funny ways. Half the enjoyment comes from all the oddities you come across before swiftly rolling them out of existence. There are two types of stages. The main one mentioned earlier, based around getting as big as possible to make a star, and side missions where you roll up tons of a certain type of thing to make a constellation, whether it be fish, crowns, or twins. The star missions are tons of fun because the levels scale up in size as you progress. First, you're just rolling up toys and mice on the world's messiest bedroom floor, but next thing you know, it's entire houses, cities, and beyond. Despite bringing Armageddon upon the world, the whole experience is pretty relaxing. It's great if you just want to kick back and roll away all your problems, especially if your problems are crabs. The screams of your victims are quickly drowned out by this game's amazingly unique soundtrack, which still stands out to this day. And the same can be said about the visuals. It's got a simple, chunky look with milky colors that really pop. Even more so now that the game is rendered in HD. But aside from crisper visuals and motion controls, this port doesn't bring anything new to the table. And that's fine, especially for people like myself who haven't played the original. But it would have been nice to see a new level or two anyway, given that the game is fairly short, even going after all the collectible presents. They could have also ironed out some of the problems I encountered, like big frame drops when things get too hectic, a generally wonky camera, and occasionally getting stuck in cramped areas. But hey, it's only $30, which is like 6 cups of overpriced coffee, or 1 cup of extremely overpriced coffee. You'd have to be crazy not to buy it. That's why Katamari Damacy Reroll gets a B+. It's a great game that's aged incredibly well, with a few exceptions. Most problems I had were fixed in the sequel, so here's hoping that one gets re-rolled as well. And let's get the Prince in Smash while we're at it. He'd make a great Echo Fighter or Bayonetta. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to see more, click the rectangle. You can also leave me a comment revealing your darkest fears. See you next video!